We truly stand in the dark age of YouTube. Its shadow falls on copyright abuse, unjustified bans, revisionist history, and yes, even death. We were coming off a heated drama with the Act-Man, and even though I didn't necessarily agree with how he went about everything, I think it's important that we keep the real villain in focus. Some people will say that's Quantum. I think it's YouTube. So put on your detective hats, grab your tea, cause we got a lot to uncover, just like in Sherlock Hidden Cases. It's the cool free-to-play puzzle game from G5. Meet up with Sherlock and Watson to solve mysteries and restore the plots of well-known books like Wizard of Oz, Beauty and the Beast, and Alice in Wonderland, as well as many other classic novels. Seriously, there's so much content here, like regular events and updates, absorbing quests, and investigating crimes. What I like is just how chill the gameplay is, hidden objects match 3, as well as a bunch of different environments to check out and explore. Fam, I've hidden 3 objects throughout this video. If you find them and reply to the pinned comment down below with the exact timestamps, I'll shout you out in my next video. Can you imagine like 200 people find that shit? It'll be the longest shout out ever, but I will do it for the people. It's the perfect game for when you're traveling on the metro or on a plane, or if you just want to test your attentiveness. While researching videos, I often get stumped. This is a great way for me to take a 5 or 10 minute break and sharpen my mind a bit before getting back to work. And here's the best part, you can earn some extra bonuses by using my personal download link in the description or my QR code from now until July 19th. All you gotta do is create a G5 Friends account. Sherlock Hidden Cases is available on iOS, Android, and anywhere on PC. You can even play in browser. So join the legendary Sherlock Holmes and begin your investigation today. Thank you Sherlock and G5 for sponsoring this video. So where were we? YouTube, livelihoods, and death. YouTube has a very clear history when it comes to banning people and enforcing their TOS. Their history is that they suck, so let's review it. In the beginning, there was nothing. It was the wild west of the internet. It wasn't until 2016 when a 15-year-old girl by the username Avalion would get noticed by Leafy for singing Happy Birthday to Hitler.
Happy birthday to you.
At first, a lot of people just thought this was a meme, like it was some dumb 15-year-old girl trying to do anything to be noticed by Leafy. I mean, she's got little swastika cupcakes. It's ridiculous. But it would become undeniably clear that she was an actual Nazi. She made a video titled How to Identify a Jew and used Ethan Klein as the example.
Test your skills. It's called Find the Jew. Yay!
She called this segment Find the Jew.
Okay, so here we have Ethan from H3H3, Katy Perry, and Shaniqua. I'll give you a second to examine their faces. If you pick number 1, you are correct. Although Katy Perry has a lot of money, she is not Jewish.
Her ass got banned real fast, and rightfully so, but a lot of creators weren't necessarily on board with that decision from YouTube. Leafy, who was pretty much the guy who got her banned, would come to her defense.
She was being racist, and she was being a complete fucking cunt. And obviously it's YouTube's decision on what content they want on YouTube, and what content they don't want. But it's one of those things that I believe that YouTube should be an open platform, that anybody should be able to come on YouTube and talk about whatever topic they want to talk about, despite how stupid and despite how wrong. Because many people would argue that they'd rather see a hate video every now and then on YouTube at the cost of less censorship than no hate videos at the cost of censorship.
A lot of creators at the time feared that this would start a slippery slope here on YouTube, with each new person getting banned bringing in the extreme just a little bit more until we just start banning people for making jokes. That's called foreshadowing. The next major ban would happen in 2018 with Alex Jones for his Sandy Hook conspiracy theory, claiming that the elementary school shooting was a hoax. It was another one of those cases where the guy was being such a piece of shit, nobody was gonna come to his defense. But it is worth noting that we went from the ban-worthy extreme having to be a literal Nazi to now just a dude with a crazy conspiracy. When I think about it, it's like, what? We aren't allowed to have conspiracies anymore? Okay, fine, but this is a notable jump. In December of 2018, they would ban Mumkey Jones, a comedian who would make fun of criminals. YouTube notably handed out all 3 strikes at the same time, one of which was on a privated video, not even giving Mumkey a chance to fix anything. This would become the new unofficial standard of TOS, where YouTube would ban people simply because they didn't like them. The Gokunaru H3H3 content vigilante, iDubbbz content cop on Leafy, and Leafy's response to the content cop. Historic videos gone forever. 2020, Leafy would be banned with no reason ever given by YouTube. None, leaving people to speculate for why it was banned. Nelk would then get removed from the YouTube ad program because they posted a video of them at a party during COVID on their Snapchat. Their AdSense was removed because they did something on another platform. And as frustrating and unfair as this was, YouTube did remain consistent on one thing. They were not the news and they weren't going to punish people for talking about the news. Let's backtrack to 2019. The CEO of YouTube, Susan Wojcicki, would go on 60 Minutes to explain.
There was laws that said this is the type of content you can't have, then we would remove it. Just to be clear, because you've asked me so many questions about hate, that's not necessarily something that we're getting any kind of legislation about. That's allowed. That's allowed here in the US.
You would think that YouTube was a pretty free speech website, at least when it came to covering news, but boy would that change. YouTube has always been pressured by mainstream media to push content that comes from credible sources.
They're not media. They don't check the facts. They say, no, we're just a platform.
Basically just referring to themselves. In 2020, partly because of COVID and partly because of some terrorist attacks that happened in France that year, YouTube started to implement these changes.
We're actually going to prioritize videos from what they considered authoritative sources.
But that didn't perform very well on our platform.
She says that basically the engineers at YouTube were telling her, like,
the users don't want to actually see it.
No one is clicking on these videos. That's just not what they want to see.
And so what do you do as a platform? Do you show it to them anyway? And so that's actually, I remember that very clearly because that was the first time I said to them, it doesn't matter. We have a responsibility.
So YouTube is promoting the mainstream media's coverage of things, even though that's not what their users want. They don't want you to hear the everyday person's opinion when it comes to global issues. Now, some people might agree with that. I don't. But what if YouTube implemented that same policy when it came to everyday news and scandals? Well, that would be completely ridiculous because YouTubers are often the first ones to break stories, so why would we get punished for that? This brings us to our main story today. How to Cook is a baking YouTuber who decided to do a PSA about the dangers of fractal wood burning. Fractal wood burning is this cool trend on TikTok where they disassemble a microwave and use its high voltage electricity to burn cool designs into wood. It's also extremely dangerous and has killed over 600 people. So to me, How to Cook's PSA was a good video that was very much needed, so I was very confused when I heard YouTube would strike it down. That's how incompetent and controlling YouTube is at the moment. They think warning somebody that something is dangerous is the same as promoting the dangerous thing. YouTube, this video is literally saving people's lives. These are comments from her YouTube video. I was somebody that wanted to try this thing. It was only after journalists started writing articles about her video going down that YouTube would finally reinstate it. That's how little YouTube trusts us to even talk about a slightly sensitive issue. But nobody has been done dirtier than Kavos. We all remember the Logan Paul suicide force. Yeah. It was viral, and as far as I remember, Kavos was the first one to break the story. He received over 18 million views and was cited as a source by multiple news stations.
Been slammed by other YouTubers and celebrities.
Again, Kavos' video is internet history, so it came to everyone's surprise when YouTube struck it down just last month. Yep, it was for violating community guidelines on promoting suicide. YouTube would tweet at Kavos, "We do not, however, allow content on YouTube that promotes self-harm or is intended to shock or disgust the audience. After careful review, we've decided to remove the video for violating our policy." The only one promoting suicide in this situation is YouTube. Their decision making is so stupid, they make me want to kill myself. Kavos does not show the dead body in his video. It's simply a video condemning Logan for making it. I mean, look at the slippery slope we've taken in just 6 years. We start off banning a Nazi, okay, good. Then we banned conspiracy theorists. I don't know about that one, but I see the argument. Then we banned comedians, commentators, and people who party. Now you can't even talk about global events, what's happening in the world, even if you're the journalist to break the story. It's completely counterintuitive. Right now, YouTube is actively age restricting videos from America Uncovered. Why? Why are we gatekeeping the news? Are we on a social media platform or are we in a preschool? Because it feels like the latter.
Shut the fuck up!
The main problem with YouTube is you. Yes, you. When somebody uploads a video you don't like, you don't just go after the person who uploaded the video. No! You say, YouTube, what's wrong with you? How can you allow this on your platform? You blame the website. Guys, YouTube doesn't upload the videos. We gotta stop being mad at the site for what individuals do. It's led to YouTube walking around with a massive hammer, preemptively nuking any creator who could be seen as controversial as soon as a journalist gets involved. It's made the system completely unfair. It's ruined livelihoods, limited productive dialogue, and has stunted creativity. Because for every person who deserves to be banned, 10 more people seem to get hit for just making a joke or covering a story. We need to grow up all around as a community. That means the creators, the viewers, and the asshats that write the articles. Because the current solution isn't working. Rich is getting struck for covering quantum too much. They call it harassment. Actman's video was struck over a cucumber. I think this is an important topic that everyone should talk about because as history's shown, it's only going to get worse. Thank you for coming to my TED Talk, and I'll be back to memeing next video. Shout out to the Patreon homies, Phoebes, Crimson Glass, Zombie Fox, Riveter, Latchkey Gothboy, Christina Vina, Detective Pika, Mac Monkey, Drain Kovacs, Bo Blacks, Necro Valley, and the Mega Homies, Reynolds Hughes, Marissa Lynn, IGP, Hellison, Bold Boy Ajax, Jason Johnson, Your Taxi, Spartan McCowell, Free Spirit Katie, Lore Reloaded, Code 9, Papa Gut, Runbin, and Ryan Laffler. These are the people that allow me to make the videos I want to make without having to worry about YouTube's monetization system. You guys don't go underappreciated.
Here's to the rubble. A breakthrough every window. A casket buried 6 feet deep for everybody's heroes. Here's to our lives being meaningless. And how beautiful it is